And good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Walk-Ons for another Thursday night edition of the Thomas Bachman Show. It is, West Monroe week. Can you believe that it's already there? Doug Gann alongside of Nick Magnano, and, of course, joining us, as always, head coach of the Ash Trojans and Coach Thomas Bachman. And, Coach, welcome out once again.
Week 9, here we go.
Indeed. It's a big one, of course, and every week it's a big one because it's the one that's right in front of us.
That's right. That's right.
You see, I'm coming along and I'm getting into that.
No, these are certainly fun though. They're marquee matchups, and there's notoriety and name recognition. So it's okay to acknowledge the obvious, and certainly we're aware of what it is, and certainly looking forward to it.
One of our keys to the game last week was that the Trojans needed to start fast. They needed to be fast like a cheetah, who's the fastest land animal, not Chester Cheetah of the Cheetos fame, but just like a Cheeto nonetheless. So I just wanted to give that out to all my friends that are following along. But if you wanted to look up a definition of fast start, man, you guys did that Friday night.
Yeah, we got off to a quick start. We were able to, we got off with a holding play there. We pick up a first down on the initial play of the game, get called for holding, and have to overcome that. Did a really nice job there, and we're able to get some things going. And then the play action shot and got Darius wide open, and he did the rest.
Look, it was a night of the passes, and we talked about this. Go all the way back to week 1 when some of the passes were a little off. And Nick and I said it on the air that night. Give these guys a couple of weeks to really get that chemistry going. And you sit back, and Ty's throwing the ball up. Ty's going to join us tonight. Throw the ball up, and Darius will get under it. EJ will get under it. Tanner's doing a wonderful job. I mean, these guys, Jimmy, they're all doing a great job, and they're all on the same page.
Yeah, coming along. I think the mark of the program that you want is that you get better each and every week.
Right.
I certainly think that's been the case for this team, and there's still, we're still scratching and clawing to try and make some improvements. But, as we've said every week when we've talked on air, off air, Ty and these kids, the receivers, Darius, EJ, all these guys are they're about the life. They're full of character, got tons of work ethic, and, just day in and day out, they bring the right approach. And, we throw and catch a lot, between the mornings when we're out there in our athletic period to start the day. And, a lot of valuable time comes in there. I don't know how many, times Ty will be able to tell you how exhausting it is here in a couple of minutes, just the amount of reps and throws that he gets in a 5-minute period. It's really pretty amazing.
I got to get my glasses on. Yeah, I'm seeing what I'm seeing out there in the crowd. Yeah. We've got a new camera up, too, that's going to get a shot of the crowd, and we might be able to do that. Brett's in here producing for us, and we'll see if Brett's able to switch over while you're talking to me. There's that crowd that's making its way in here, and special guest that you see down there on the end of it. Do you see that?
No, I haven't seen
Head coach of the Buckeye Panthers.
Is he really?
That's down there. Certainly is.
The one and only, one of the greatest men coaches. Whew, I miss that guy so much, man. I talk to him all the time. No, he is truly one of the best that's out there, and got him a huge win on Friday night.
Oh, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was so excited. We were in the field. We were in the field house following it. Just the.
How were you able to do that?
4-4-6
That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
But, for him and his defensive coordinator, James Wood, just two guys that were with us that we all, cherish the relationship, the friendship, and we're certainly pulling for them, keep an eye on them every week. And, to go get those really big wins when you're trying to get it,
right.
Just, we all know that feeling, and couldn't be more proud and excited for him and his program and what he and James and those guys have going. And, boy, it's so much fun when you get a group of kids to believe, and they're fighting, and they've been fighting all season and, for multiple years. But when they finally see their hard work being paid off
right.
with a couple of these victories and some big moments where it just gives you chills, man.
And
just all that work behind the scenes, and you just never know when your breakthrough's coming. And, boy, it's just a kick in the gut when you come up short, and you just keep
right.
scratching and clawing, and it's so rewarding. And I was watching a little bit. I went back and watched some of the y'all show on Sunday night, Coach Speak, and that thing that y'all did.
Yeah,
for
we were
him
able to have him on the show on Sunday evening.
The cut up of him with his family, his girls coming up to him. Man, there's not many better moments for. That was really awesome.
And none of that was scripted for the cameras. That's just pure passion and happiness and
genuine emotion and no, that's awesome. So. Shoot, let's get his butt up here and get him on the radio.
Look, so we got him on the show Sunday, and now he's out. I don't wonder if he went to the other shows and is looking around. But
he's welcome here anytime.
I know that he hears us out there, but a big hello to Coach Ben McLaughlin, who is down on the end. So he's in his mode, and he gets his headset on, and I was looking at him. I said, that's not right. So I had to pull that one off of his ear, and he's like, all right, now it's
game time.
Now we're back.
Awesome.
Now it's great to have him. But we'll get back into that game from Pineville.
The timing and the chemistry that those kids developed just through rep after rep after rep, certainly paid off for us. Very efficient in the passing game, going 9 of 11. And
so you know what you
would
told
have liked
us.
to have gone 11 for 11.
Okay, so in your interview at halftime, and the one thing that you can tell about one of your interviews, no matter when it is, you've got everything stored up there. And Nick asked you, he said, Ty was 8 for 10. That should have been 10 for 10. You know the two that he dropped more than 8 that he caught.
Yeah, no doubt. That's kind of what we do to ourselves as coaches, but. Just
do you forget what your wife told you to bring home from the store, though?
Yes, she'll
here.
second that.
She got on TV. She walked by down here behind us and came up here.
She'll second that and say I forget everything, but just an incredible kid and his work ethic and it's been a lot of fun to be a part of. It's not necessarily his program, but the growing together and the. The developing of that relationship, and it's a lot of fun to coach.
You told us all the way back in week 1 when Ty was able to move around in the pocket and run and get some first downs. And we talked about it week 2 on this show, and you said, yeah, we as coaches now, we've got to go and put some stuff out here and utilize his legs. And that's been the difference this year. Mm-hmm. Joe last year wasn't able to run as much, rifle of an arm, but Ty brings that dual threat aspect to it.
Yeah, no doubt. Very dangerous with his feet, and as we get deeper into this thing, I mean that'll become more a part of just another way to hold defenses accountable, and he's certainly comfortable with it. He's just a competitor, and there's no limit to to the opportunities that give us, and certainly some of it's called, and then some of it's just instinct, the creativity of and the ad lib of being an athlete and going and playing the game and being a competitor.
Coach, one thing I've really enjoyed watching the offense grow, as you're talking about, is every week there seems to be a different person, that gets involved. There seems to be a different, wrinkle to what you do. Like you're talking about the RPOs with Ty running. I mean, you tried throwing one to Thibodeau, and I bet he wants that one back too.
Yeah.
The wrinkles, and that's phenomenal watching that from a high school level. I haven't been involved with high school football a number of years.
Well, trying to layer it, plays off of plays, presenting looks and layering it, with some of our what we consider, scheme where it's not necessarily a huge part of what we carry week in and week out. Y'all can, probably say, oh, that's, they've ran that 100 times and, we're going to try and run it 1,000 times before the year's over. That's a part of the core of the offense. And then there are those plays that we've tried to scheme up and dial up, and you try to layer those things where there's multiple things off of the same repeated actions.
Well, let's a conversation that we had prior to the St. Thomas More game with Coach Mercer, if you'll remember that. He said, when Carrickrow comes out, you got to look at about 80 different plays on there. St. Thomas More comes out and does a couple of things really good. And that's what you guys are doing, is you've got a couple of base plays. You've just got some wrinkles off of it, and you do what you do very well.
Yeah, we certainly want to. The name of the game is execution.
Right.
Don't beat yourself, and we kind of preach that to the kids. That's one of the things. Learning how to win is learning how not to lose. Penalties and situational football and all that stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know what people think when they're defending us. To be honest with you, like.
I know it stresses the defense out on Tuesdays and Mondays.
You got, there are certainly tendencies, and every good coach I've ever been around, would tell you got tendencies for a reason,
Right.
And we certainly believe that with with the group of guys that we got. You know, it's personnel driven. You know, we do have flexibility and you know, in kind of our system of offense of, you know, to utilize, you know, what we have. If we have tight ends, we're going to play with more tight ends. If we have receivers, you know, whatever it is, there's flexibility in the core scheme. And, yeah, so we'll see what we can do. A lot of football left.
A little bit of a different show tonight because the commercials aren't coming up. So we're going to change throughout without going to the break, but we certainly do thank all of our sponsors, and we'll get into those tomorrow before the game. But, of course, walk-ons. We couldn't do anything that we do on the Thomas Bachman Show with the folks at Sadler's Towing. Without a doubt, Sadler's Towing has been our number one supporter, and even got us some cool hats last week.
That's right.
As well. Wallace Eye Associates, you'll see those guys.
I don't look good in many hats, so, you know,
Just
it'll have to be something that sits on the dashboard.
It's got to be one of them right there. So we're going to talk to, I believe you've got Ty in here tonight.
Can we get him up here?
Well, I got to go. We got to go snail Coach Ben and get him down here and get him, if you would. And he's going to tell you no, but you tell him that he doesn't have that choice. So we're going to mute there, and we're going to spend a couple of minutes. And I know that it's the Ash Show and the Thomas Bachman Show, but goodness, an opportunity to talk.
He's forever, you know, forever a part of everything we ever accomplished going forward and all that. You know, there's all those guys that, you know, there's been people that have come and gone and you know, but they're still a part of you forever, you know, what they gave you, you know, what they were a part of.
Look, he's shaking his head no, and he doesn't get that choice down there, so we're waving him down here.
I certainly learned a lot from him in my time.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I think we all try to do. We try to learn from the people that
and I didn't set that one up. We set Mike Leach up, but I didn't set that one up a couple of years ago. So my man's coming back here, and he's telling me that he's got to. Well, she was on the show last time too, so it's great, and I get it, and that just shows you the class that he has with him. Let's get Ty down here. We'll work on Ty, and then we'll bring EJ we'll bring EJ and Darius down here separately. But let's spend a segment with Ty and just his transfer into this as his family moved down here.
Yeah, I saw Coach Feaster out there. Nobody scored more points in the state of Louisiana than Coach Feaster. We can get those two up here together.
We absolutely can.
No reason in me being here.
You always do this to us. It's your show.
I enjoy listening to the kids.
And doing that. So come on, you get the middle of this. That's right. Well, maybe so. Do what? Yes, you can do it on the master volume right here. We're joined, that one right there. Turn it up and just make sure it doesn't squeak. There we go. We're joined now by quarterback. You see him as number 7. And Ty, let me make sure you're turned on. Well, you were in Bachman's. There you go. All right.
So.
There, that's better. Yep. So, man, we've followed your progression every week. I don't know if you go back and watch any of the highlights of the games or any of that, but your progression from that Karen Crow game when we first saw you to where you're at now. And I've told this a lot, and I've seen the tape from you last year too. I don't know if it was nerves or getting adjusted to it, but you went from playing quarterback to being a quarterback this year, and you've owned every bit of it.
Yeah, well, I think the most major adjustment was like speed of the game and the level of the defense, and I think there was a part of me that was still unconfident maybe in the first 2 weeks. I didn't know how it would be the first few weeks, but the more I played, the more I just I felt like I was getting into a groove. Like, oh, this is just football. This is what I've been doing. This is what I can do.
They talk about the game slowing down for you. Yeah. Is that what I think has happened?
Yeah, I feel like it. I felt like I've come into the games prepared more, knowing what I'm gonna do, and just knowing that I gotta play the ball that I've been playing. And that's how it comes to me.
And you're doing that, and it's almost the last 2 or 3 weeks, almost like playing some video games. You just sit back there and do it. But tell me about the strength of that offensive line that you've got out there. We talked to Cam, we've talked to Brett, we've talked to all of the guys across that offensive line. They have matured and grown throughout the season 100%. As well. Tell me about your relationship with them.
Well, that's obviously been a huge part of it, is the growth of feeling comfortable back there, the trust. the bonds, when you build bonds, when you have trust in your O-line, that's a huge part of if you can feel comfortable knowing that you're not going to get hit from the behind or somebody's going to come up. So that's been a huge part of the growth.
We'll get back to it just a second, but we're joined by Coach Feaster of the LCU Wildcats and also the dad. So great to have you on here.
Thanks a lot. I really just came to eat and listen to y'all, but
Look, it never happens that way.
yeah, whatever.
No, it is. How's the adjustment down here? It just seems that we talk about Ty growing every week. Are you seeing that as a dad and as a coach?
Yes and no. I coached him the last 2 years.
Right.
And he was phenomenal. Last year was 37 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. The year before that, he was really good as a sophomore and all that. So I knew he was really good.
Right.
And then I saw him in the scrimmage, and he wasn't very good, honestly, and I couldn't quite understand it. We were so excited. The hardest thing for me to decide to come coach at Louisiana Christian University was to move him out of his friends and his comfort zone and all that was going on over there his senior year. And we were really excited to get to Ash because of the coaching staff. They got really good guys, and because of the people he's going to be throwing to, and because of the offensive line. And it's really been a good experience for him overall. And, yeah, from the scrimmage to now, he's a lot better. But honestly, I really say, I told him this after the Ruston game. If y'all would have opened up playing, and I named some teams that I won't name now, y'all would just be phenomenal, and your stats would be great and all that other stuff. But the 3 teams they lost to are all ranked number one, and they're all number feeded, and they're all fantastic. And I thought he really looked pretty good even in those games. And now that they're now they're beating people and all that, I think they're really doing well, and I'm really proud of him.
Without a doubt, and the maturity that you've shown. If you would have told me preseason in the scrimmage side that you weren't going to have Mingo on one side and Jalen Johnson on the other, I'd have said we're going to be in trouble. But I'm telling you, the ability and the effectiveness of Darius, of Jimmy, of EJ to come in, and Tanner as well, to come in, it's a lot, and there's only one football. How do you get that football around everybody?
Well, it's not that hard when they get open a lot. They make my job a little bit easier when I can just throw the ball out there and trust that Darius and EJ are going to go get it because they've got speed, and then we'll run a fast screen or a bubble, just get the ball in their hands and let them work after it, or a great play call that gets Tanner wide open, like throwback or coming across the middle or something like that. A screen that hasn't been made easy.
The play calling has really been good.
Right.
I never had so much fun in my life as a fan as a Ruston game, and I know we lost. It was tough at the end and all that.
Yeah, but those are going to. That's
some of the
going to
play
happen.
calls in the second half that got those guys open and seeing him. It was just. I know y'all are used to stuff like that.
Right.
I'm not. I'm used to be on the sideline. I got to keep my cool and all that. We were just screaming and hollering. It was unreal.
Well, it's okay. It's good to be that dad and just come in and do that. And, oh, by the way, you got 6 behind you that you're handing the ball off, too.
Yeah.
So if they want to sit back and play a dime or play some coverage on there, he's going to run for 175, 180 yards on you.
The play action is a whole lot better when you have that dude in the back over there because they got to respect him.
How is it knowing that you've got that? I mean, you've got JT behind you and knowing that, hey, if you need to get that extra yard or you whatever, JT's going to go out there and get it.
Exactly. 3rd down, 4th down, run toss, run blast, run some power up the middle, or make the defense think that's what you're going to do because they have to respect it because that's what we've been doing, and that's what JT does so well. He gets it every time, so catching them respecting it, cheating up on the run, and opens up the passing game too.
The one thing that I said that I've seen, and I made that same call on Sal Palermo when he was younger, when he was a freshman or sophomore there at LCU, the ability for you to get out of the pocket and run gives that defense something else to look at so they can't sit back. They can't wait for JT, maybe Tanner over there, but you're also going to tuck it in and take off and run.
Yep. I mean, it's just kind of like the feeling thing. If I feel pressure, sometimes I get out a little bit too early, but I can maybe feel when somebody's coming from behind me and try to get out early as possible and keep my eyes downfield and try to make a throw.
I know one thing along those lines is, and I'm so fortunate coaching Sal, but he's really good at it too, is when I make a bad play call.
Right.
And I thought the comeback was really going to be open that time, and I see him pull it down and either going to take a sack or throw it away or find somebody else or pull it down and run or something like that. But anything but. So when I make a bad play call and the guy's not open that I thought was going to be open, they bail me out, and Sal does it a lot for me.
Indeed, and he's done it. But you see, and you hear that term that's thrown around, Ty, of football IQ. It's knowing, and I've talked to a lot of the coaches, and he said, look, Ty's just smart about being back there and reading the defenses and progressing from week 1 to here we are in week 9, and this is another one of those big ones. A lot of those guys, though, haven't been around the last time that played West Monroe here. That was 2020, and everybody knows what happened that night. But you don't seem like you have any fear, and none of the guys do, about who that next opponent is.
Oh, no. I think we're putting together a good game plan, first of all, and I think we built up confidence from our last 3 weeks. I mean, watching, they're 7-1, but it's not like they're the best team, and I feel like if we keep playing like we've been playing, we'll handle them pretty well.
If you go out and play your game, and that's the absolute key, because so many times, when folks, and they paid the money to get everybody to go up to West Monroe and play, when you get up there, it's a lot of atmosphere that's there. The big band that stretches all the way around, the Jumbotron, the sign up there with all of the championships and all of that on there. But it's the same type of football field. And the guys the last few years, and knowing the confidence they have, going out there, it's just another football game.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's us versus them on the football field. Zone out all the crowd, zone out the band, zone out the banners, and they're coming to us. So they're going to have to struggle with zoning out our fans. And so when we match up, us versus them on the football field, it's going to be us that's the better team that's going to win.
Let me ask you this, and we've asked the guys before. There's a moment in the game where Tempo Tuesday takes over, and you see it in your opponent that they're not the same stamina and endurance that you guys got. And you know what? And you saw it in the Rusted game. You saw Rusted get tired at the end of that game, and you've seen others. But you guys, the shape that you're in, 1 through 11 plus the 2 or 3 reserves that are coming in there, where's that moment that you see the opponent, you're like, they got their hands on the hips, we're about to go down and score again?
Exactly. The third or fourth quarter, if we start it from the opening drive all the way to the last, going full tempo, wearing them down, and we get in shape by practice. Coach believes in you get in shape by practicing hard and running around in practice. So that's what we do. Tempo Tuesdays, we go fast, we practice. And so we do it from the opening drive. And by the fourth quarter, we're still going, and they're getting tired because they can't keep up doing it all the time because we practice like that.
We see it each and every week. Ty, thank you for joining us. Yes, Coach.
You got to remember, too, when they do substitute, when their guys get tired and they substitute, they're putting in Mingo and Johnson and Duncan, and we're still pretty good.
You're exactly right. It's just a plethora of weapons that you have out there. Offensive line that has gotten better each and every week. Yeah. Pretty good play calling, and not a shabby defense on the other side. Yeah. Real good things going on for the purple and gold 100%. This year. Yeah, Coach, you guys having a great season. Tough loss this week, but that was a long road trip. Still have that conference championship and the playoffs in sight, and we're rooting for you all along the way.
Well, I appreciate it. And it's nice being in a place like Arizona or the other place. They made us take all these trips this year, and Oklahoma and all these 20-hour plus bus rides, and it's good on Friday night. Our last practice is done, and I'm in the hotel room watching y'all. Well, and that's been a real blessing because I hated missing any of his ball games like this year, but it was just kind of a sacrifice that we had to make to do this and all that. But it makes it a lot easier let down when I can watch you guys and watch them play.
Thank you. That means a lot to us, and thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thank
Coach.
You.
Appreciate that. Ty, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Anybody that's been on the show has went out and had their best game the next night. So let's go get them. All right, Ty Feaster joining us here. We're see who Coach Bachman's got back with him on here. I'm not sure. There's that crowd that you see, a great crowd that's out there. Again, West Monroe and Alexandria set for tomorrow night. Look like we've got EJ and Darius that are going to make their way down here. And Ty, as you see, giving 5 to his receivers on there. And we'll let them get settled in. Come on, guys. Have a seat in here. And remember, you got to have that up close so you can hear what's going on. Coach normally comes down and tells you to be respectful and don't say, but I'm sure he's already got you guys with that, hasn't he? There you go. And joining us here, introduce yourselves, guys.
Darius Washington, receiver. EJ Scott, receiver.
There you go. Look, and EJ, we told you this, I guess afterwards. You look around for the big receivers and you don't see them, and you guys are just killing it this year.
Yes, sir.
Darius, let me tell you, last year we were watching, and for those who had number 3, number 4, so when you see that, it's just the difference that you've made in special teams and returning punts. Had one a week ago, but you've made the catches, you've made the plays that you've needed to, special teams back there doing it when it's needed to be done. How difficult is that when you're sitting there and I've got to catch this ball on a punt return and you do it so well?
Really just got to focus on one thing at a time.
Right.
Before the punt's kick, I just looked for my surroundings, see who's like where the ball's going, where the ball's going to land at, who's coming to get me.
Right.
See if I should fair catch it or not fair catch it. It's just a lot going on. You got to focus on one thing.
So one of my favorite, I'm gonna put that in a little bit closer. There you go. One of my favorite moments, I guess it was last week, and Coach Nick is up in the booth with me calling on that. I don't know if you go back. He's like, "Get away! Don't touch it!" And then you pick it up and you go. I was like, "I'll never tell him not to touch it. He's gonna get it up and go." And you know, I don't think that we've returned a punt for a touchdown this year. I'm not. I mean, this is week 9. So now look, tell me. And again, I told Ty when he was here a little bit earlier, if we'd have sat back in the preseason and said that neither Mamai or Jalen was your starting receivers, I'd have said, boy, it's going to be a long year. But you guys, y'all have changed everything. EJ, it just seems like you're open every single time.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I'm glad you catch a football better than you giving it. Look, that's that we up in the booth, and I don't know if we'll call you EJ Stop Route Scott, because it looks like you and Ty have that timing down perfectly.
Yes, sir. In practice with Coach B, I mean, we run it 100 times a day, so it's like you can't do nothing but perfect it.
Well,
just get out on the field.
How have you seen your progression go, but how do you think the comfort level with Ty has come this year? Darius, we'll start with you, but that question will be for both of you.
Well, you know, coming in, when we first saw Ty, we was like, yeah, it's gonna like take time to handle him and stuff.
Right.
But then when we just start getting rolling, he started to trust us. We started to trust him more, and then he just started putting it where he knew where we could make a play, and so it just went on from there.
How does that make your comfort level with him now, knowing that I'm going to run down here and all I got to do is look up and here comes the football?
Like he said, at the beginning of the season, we started off a little rough, a little shaky. We weren't really connecting. But as the season went on, as we started practicing, we started connecting more and more. And I feel like Ty been trusting us as we've been making the plays for him, big-time plays in game. And we just building that team chemistry, knowing that we're not playing for ourselves, we playing for one another. That is so
good. It's so true. When we watch the pregame warm-ups and he's throwing that fade to you there, I mean, it's dropping it down there, and you guys are right there. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to see. Thought you had the other touchdown when you got out at the 1 yard line in that game too. You were getting after it though, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
It was pretty close. All right, so we'll get back to the game in a minute, but take me through practice. Is there a time when 11 and 1 are guarding you guys and it's on?
Of course.
How does that go?
It goes great. We try to we do like some competition sometimes, see out of me and EJ who can catch the ball the most at practice.
Right.
Like who can get open the most and everything. And then with Jalen and Mama, it's good. It's like iron sharpens iron, 1 against 1.
That is so good. That is really, really good. And then you guys have been able to utilize that big offensive line a little bit more.
Yeah.
Tanner's done a great job catching the ball as a tight end. I think it's probably the most touchdown passes that a tight end has caught on there too. And then you got 6 back there running, over everybody.
Yeah.
So that was that's a lot of fun. And then, by the way, Jimmy Duncan, who does whatever you ask him to do as well, even throw a 70-yard touchdown pass, right?
Just the athlete. You can put him anywhere on the field. Know that he's going to make a play for the team.
How much fun are you guys having this year?
Actually having fun. We had so much fun that they made a nickname for us, Mighty Midgets. Mighty Midgets.
I have indeed heard that. Not used it on the air yet, but you guys are just great, and it always seems like that you're fired up when you're coming on the field, coming off the field. It's got to be good knowing that, hey, you're getting better every single week, putting up a lot of big numbers too. And we talked to Ty, we talked to the others. You see that moment when Tempo Tuesday takes over, and folks at home are getting tired. But I'm gonna answer this of all of the kids that are out here. Is it that moment you look on the other side and go, Tuesday's got us right here. I'm about to go by this guy.
Yeah, Tuesdays is like one of those days to where you define him.
Right.
Him is like that you can do it. You're that guy.
Look, I've heard over and over Coach Bachman say, and Coach Merce and some of the others, they're about that life. Tell me about how many times you guys hear that at practice and throughout, that they're being about that life.
All day, every day. We mainly hear it on Tuesdays because going back and forth with the defense, we just competing.
Right.
The defense know our plays, but we just got to find ways to get open. And coach just see who he can throw it to. Big-time players going to make the big-time plays. And that all starting practice Tempo Tuesday, being the hardest day of the week.
That defense ain't real bad that you guys go against.
I feel like we got a top defense in the state. That's why me and my mighty midget right here putting up them numbers.
Look, and y'all have played against some pretty stud defense. It's that Ruston game. And look, the Ruston Ash game every year is good. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose on there. But I'm going to tell you what, I'd love to have the Karen Crow game back. Yeah, I'd love to have the St. Thomas More game back on there, any of them, because I think you guys are playing as good as anybody in the state from offense, defense, special teams. And there's nobody more excited than Bodie Van Dyke and Channing as the kickers on there. I mean, everybody is playing with that level.
Of course, yeah.
Who's more excited than Bodie after he makes a big play on those onside kicks?
Really, Bodie. Bodie, you can't tell Bodie anything after one of those things.
You could just see it on film. It's hard to be more excited than him with him jumping up and down.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So what do you guys – I know that there's no secrets out there, but how excited are you about West Monroe coming in, and here's an opportunity to prove yourselves across the state? Because a lot of people – and I know – Coach Bachman doesn't listen to any of this stuff, but there's always people that are going to say that we can't win outside of Central Louisiana. How does that fire you up as West Monroe comes into town tomorrow?
It fires us up because it's like our own people like doubting us, but we know we could do it.
Right.
We didn't put in a hard work and effort to do it. We just like ready, excited, just pumped up to play.
Right.
You know, our team got our back, and like we got there.
That's right. EJ?
Like Coach Bachman say, it's the most important game of the season because it's our next game. Now,
Look,
it only been West Monroe, but I feel like we're going to shock the world tomorrow night.
It's like a broken record hearing the different teammates because every one of you guys have said it's the most important one because it's this week. All 8 weeks are behind you. This is week 9. And Coach Bachman, and he probably shares this story with you guys too. Somebody asked him, he said, can you believe the season's halfway over? And he's like, for who? It's not at all. It's not 10 weeks. You guys are having as special a season as I have seen since 2020. Then we covered it. Your best football is ahead of you. We're looking forward to a huge, huge night tomorrow. Darius Washington, EJ Scott, we appreciate you guys joining us, and let's go out there and beat West Monroe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you have it. You'll see him number 3, number 4 on the field tomorrow night, and just do a tremendous job. Once we got EJ in his rhythm, he got to talking a little bit more, so that was good to see. We'll see you guys out there on the field tomorrow night, and this is what Nick, you all on the camera time, my man. He got, look, that's more Nick Magnano on the camera than we've had all year long. Coach Bachman joined us back here. Coach, you there?
I'm good.
There you go.
We get this close.
And Nick's going to get on there in just a second. Brett, let's go back and look at that crowd one more time. Coach,
Good crowd.
It's been this way since week 1,
Yep.
and it has been this. We had to move outside, but all season long, it's been this kind of a crowd out there. Were you able to go down there and talk to Coach Ben?
I was.
And he's still not coming?
No,
No.
he's
I
think he's got some in-laws and spending some time. No, he just
Look, we were
taking
able
it
to
in.
get such a great perspective from Coach Feaster as he was here, and what a special moment it was to have Ty and have him on there together.
Yep,
and
that's
and,
fun.
and it's just
ton
great.
of respect for Coach Feaster.
Said,
Me personally as a
coached him
coach.
as a sophomore, coached him as a junior, knew he was really good, and then got in the scrimmage and he wasn't really good. And Ty says it's just the speed of the game, and he got in, and the game slowed down for him a little bit more as the weeks go on.
No, he's playing football. Never questioned his work ethic. As we've talked about multiple times, like, as a coach, you're constantly, watching even when
That's
they
right.
don't know you're watching. How do they handle this? How do they handle this, hiccup or this? And I just watched it from the day he's shown up. Every challenge, every obstacle, every bit of adversity.
Right.
Boy, he's just met it head on. So there was never a question about how he was going to approach. And the thing's been cool too is he holds himself to a really high standard. So that's been really, really, really fun to watch, and really excited about where we're heading, what we're trying to accomplish, and the team that we have. And
One thing that speaks to his character, he was set to be on the show last week and stayed away from it because he went on the retreat with his church at Calvary.
had a whole. I know that they got back last Friday around noon, and it was a big group of them
For 1 o'clock practice.
They all rolled into the field house about, I don't know what time they got back, about noon. And, to the Calvary was really awesome in the fact, too, that Billy Lonsberry texted me, and, they were going to bus them back so that
To
they
practice
were for
Thursday.
practice on Thursday. And then, just got to thinking about it, and, kids had the day off, and I don't know, it just, sometimes you get these gut feelings and said, hey, you know what, we're going to give them Thursday off and bring them in Friday. And we went out on the field, and, we said we practiced. It wasn't a Tuesday afternoon practice, but we got out on the field, and we moved around, and we did the things that we normally do on a Thursday, and when Nate pregame Milne went and played, and, I would say that it worked out.
Back to business.
Back to business.
Y'all practicing at 1 tomorrow?
No, we are not.
No, we're not.
No, we are not. They'll have I think a senior pep rally and
Senior night is tomorrow night. That's right.
And
And
those
those
seniors, so
and those festivals, will that
on,
be at halftime or pregame?
No, that'll be at pregame. We'll
Okay.
start senior night ceremonies at 6:25 for those guys, and
Then we will be covering
so it's a little
that.
bit different. Yeah, a little bit different schedule, and we've got to handle that well. And
Well, we're expecting one of our biggest audiences of the season tomorrow. We've had a lot of calls from that northeast Louisiana area where the Rebels are from, and looking for the link to the game. Doesn't do well for the gate, I don't expect, but there'll be a lot of folks.
It'll be a good gate. It's going to be a great crowd tomorrow, and we've got a lot of good games in the area. So
Look, all 5 of our games are at home. All 5 of ours are playing at
wish
home.
they would have all played tonight.
And so they could come all out tomorrow night. Look, we sat down with EJ and Darius, and tell me about what the impact. And they told us that that you had nicknames for them, and they
Did they say that?
They
Yeah.
did. They did. And I told them, just like that, you look around.
And there's no
where's the-
disrespect in that.
Not in the
nickname.
slightest,
Yeah,
no.
No, that's
I
not
looked
a
around, I
slight
said,
that-
where's the big 6-foot receivers on there?
Yeah.
And they just got that grin.
Yep, they certainly play that way. No, they're route runners. They're
Right.
they can get themselves open, and they're great with the ball in their hands after their catch. They're a lot stronger than you think they are.
Right.
Oh, look at this little guy. No, they're strong and not easy.
And then
to
you turn
tackle.
around, oh, look at that guy
Yeah,
as
no
he's
doubt.
behind you.
No doubt. So, been a lot of fun to coach. There's a hunger inside.
Right.
Again, it goes back to what you do every single day, and there's a lot of people out there and on our team that have varying degrees of talent and can do it. It's just the day in and day out approach that those two guys have had have certainly, give them the opportunity to set themselves apart with what they're doing, and we feel really confident, as we feel confident in a lot of them. Tanner's out there, JT's out there, Muji's out there. I mean, there's a lot of the skill guys that are out there right now. And
We talked about the impact that Darius has on special teams and the difference that he's made back there. I know he got hurt early in the year last year, was out for the season, but has made such
and we
an
didn't
impact.
field many punts after that, and it's a field position.
Yep.
You say field position, and then we keep telling the guys, like, man, when you got to do it, we got a guy back there that's dangerous. We got a guy that's back there that's dangerous. We got to do a good job
Right.
for him and giving him an opportunity. And it was good to see him kind of get loose with that one right before halftime. put
That's
us
the
in
one
position
that
to get
that's the one that
last.
Nick said, no, get away. And we
Yeah.
caught him on there. But Nick has pointed out some of your special teams guys that he's been impressed with this year.
Yeah, I want to talk about, when and we talked about him before, but, Carrick Gaines, you call him Moochie Butler? Is that?
Yep, Marquise
Butler.
Muji, yeah.
Muji, okay. Cortez Simon, who just
hustles his
is
butt off
everywhere.
and did a really good job. A little bit about Gaines is just now coming back. He was cleared and was able to go Monday, the Tuesday afternoon of Ruston week. He went down with a little bit of a head injury, and so he's been in concussion protocol, and so it's really good to get him back. Was just talking with Muji this afternoon, actually in my office, and I think he thinks that the job that he does, deep snapping, is insignificant. And I just
Not
like if you knew how much stress and how much sleep I lose over little things like
Right.
that, trying to the fact that there's a lot of confidence in the job that he does in that regard. Like, you might see it as
You think it's insignificant? Roll one back to the kicker.
Correct. No,
Well,
he does a phenomenal job, and
Tell him
that-
to go to LSU's roster
Yeah, no,
and see how
it's-
many scholarship deep snappers there are.
he does a great job
Yeah.
with that, and brings value in a lot of areas. Cortez, has been battling a little bit of a hip, and You know, he made a tackle on kickoff the other night, boy, and I could see him get up and kind of tell you, it's like, you know, got a chance to put your hand, you know, because sometimes kids don't hear enough positive things
Right.
from me. You know, we're constantly just
We
on their
saw-
tail. But to get an opportunity to try and, boy, I appreciate how tough you're being right now because he's battling through a little bit of discomfort. And
One of the toughest guys you got is Christian Ray. We
Yep.
saw a head-on collision with him on the special
so
teams.
fun, so
that-
fun, and he came immediately off to the sideline, and he told Coach OJ something like, "I'm gonna get my get back."
Yeah.
And he did.
He
The
did.
very
next
next
kickoff,
the
you know,
very
so
next
that he's a
kickoff.
competitor.
If you go back and watch, we talked
gonna,
about it.
He's
Yep.
going when he graduates, he's going to be a Marine. So
That is so
tells you
good.
everything you need to know about him.
Yeah.
He has got a great personality.
Yeah.
like he gets away with some stuff just because.
Just because he's such a good kid.
Because he makes me, and he's honest. Yeah. He'll tell you, yeah, Coach, I did. You know what I'm saying? He just, you know, when you're real and you're transparent and you own, it's like, boy, there's something about you. No, he's got a great personality. He's not afraid. Plays with the motor. Absolutely love him.
You know, all you guys tonight.
Of course, the kickers.
Yeah.
The job that they do. You know,
we talked to
Daniel,
EJ and Darius, and we said, look, nobody's more excited than Bodie when he gets one going. Why the switch to Crenshaw as punter? That happened to look like midway through.
Well, Daniel has battled some knee injuries,
Right.
so it's, you know, some of its availability. He's had some, you know, just some things that he's overcoming there, and he can boom it. I mean,
He can
do
go
a
get
really,
it, and
really good
we've
job.
seen him, yeah.
You know, so we got a couple of those guys that are back there. I mean, you know, he's a baseball player. He's a multi-sport athlete. You know, sometimes I put the quarterback back there just because you want somebody that can handle.
A bad
You know, they're not going to panic if things don't happen exactly the way, and our quarterback's used to being in that. That's traditionally, unless we have a punter. One year we used Abel because he could really kick it.
Right.
But unless you have that guy, you know, that's why we've always done that, and we do feel comfortable with Daniel handling, you know, things back there. He's,
Right.
you know, he's comfortable. He's an athlete. He's not afraid of the moment type thing. So, you know, that's some of the factors that go into it.
You go back to the long snapping. The most important part of that is that guy that's getting that ball back there, because if it never gets back there to 23,
Yep.
can't do anything with it.
Yep. On time and accurate.
We've seen some games go the other way on ones that we've went in and got that have been bobbled snaps too. So that intensity.
Yeah, it plays a huge role, man. There's a bunch of positive and negative special teams that, you know, I mean, I was messing with Mingo all week, really. Every time we did extra point, I was like telling Tanner, Mingo don't like you, because when we faked that 2-point, the second touchdown, and Tanner's wide open. I don't know. I guess he just wanted to do what only he can do. So, but I was giving him a hard time. I mean, Tanner comes wide open on the corner, but does a good job finding Jimmy.
Maybe it's because y'all throw to the tight end too much. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What a change that has been, and it was great seeing the ball out to Grayson last week.
Yes, it was. We wanted that one, and all the kids wanted him too, you know. Tanner came wide open right there in the middle of
I
the
wasn't going to
field.
say that, Coach.
And
But I did pick on Ty out there earlier.
He was, but it was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
great. Tanner, wow, I wanted Grayson to get that one.
Yeah.
You know, so that was cool. So
Well-
we'll see what happens before the year's over.
I think that's why they're here, Coach, was to let, you know, our host know that we do throw to the tight. That's why they're here. They're here to make their
Look,
presence known.
Yeah, both the tight ends are down here. Goodness
Yes, sir.
gracious.
Yeah, I'll make sure I tell them that ain't why they in there, baby.
But, you know,
You got to earn it with what you do.
But the thing about Darius is you were talking about how with Crenshaw, now that you have a kicker, you know, or a punter, and that, of course, you'll have Ty punt. I see in the JV games you'll have your quarterbacks punt the ball. That's what's so impressive about Darius, is because this isn't college where every punt, you know, turns over. I mean, we've had some that have backspun.
Yep.
We've had some that have
He
forward.
saves a lot of field position.
Yeah.
He's very comfortable back there, and, you know, adding value to himself and his own future. You know, I mean, that's the thing. The more you can do, the more valuable you make yourself, and he's certainly done that in a lot of areas. And so, you know, wouldn't mind seeing getting loose with a few of them before it's all said and done.
Well, it's the best football is ahead of the Trojans this year. Again, haven't seen this special of a team since that one back in 2020. And it's just a magic about it on all three sides of the game. But I'm going to add a fourth to it: the offense, defense, special teams, but confidence. the way that they are playing, they're out on the field like nobody's going to beat us.
Well, the belief that you have in yourself, rarely do you outperform your own expectations. And, that's another thing that we talk about. I mean, what do you expect out of yourself?
Right.
That's ultimately the only thing that matters. And, what do you expect out of yourself, and then what are you willing to go earn every day? There is some people don't put anything in and then act like they expect it to come to them. It's what you go earn, but then hold yourself to a high standard. And, I think this group has certainly done it. It's going to be a 48-minute just flat-out battle tomorrow night. And I think our kids are excited about the challenge and, that the physicality that comes along with playing football at this level.
How many seniors will you trot out there tomorrow night for senior night? 21
20,
seniors.
and then, obviously Cohen is
Right,
a senior.
absolutely.
And so Cohen will be right there with them. So
First
21,
senior coach that'll be out there
21
with
of
it.
them. And
Seeing him walk around the field in pre-games and all of that, it's special. It really is.
yeah, brings energy. I mean, he brings a lot of energy, a lot of value and what he pours into, from an energy standpoint to the guys. No, he's awesome to have.
For those that are new and haven't watched a West Monroe game, what do you see when West Monroe's got the football this year?
They're doing some of the things that they've always done. They're a little bit more open, a little bit more 11 personnel, than they've been in the past. But the big things that stick out is, their seniors have really carried them, on the offensive side of football. The quarterback, number 3.
Federico, who seems like he's been starting since he was a freshman over there for him.
He's played a lot of football for them, and he makes a lot of plays in every phase with his feet, with his arm. He's made some big-time runs,
He's sneaky,
scrambles. Yes.
good with his arm.
Yep.
We've seen him drift somebody out of the backfield when you've crashed down on the run.
From what I understand, he's an incredible baseball player, and just makes a lot of play, a lot of moxie, a lot of.
Was up for the U.S. national team,
Okay.
too. He's a very solid baseball player.
2 receivers, number 11 and number 7,
Yep.
made a bunch of plays for them and, kind of carried. So some of their seniors on offense, they're playing multiple guys at tailback, so they're just going to stay fresh. They're going to play multiple guys at fullback. And, so there's some, they're not one thing. They can present a couple of different looks and hold you accountable out on the edge vertically. And then, of course, they're going to do a good job lining up and running the football. So there's a lot of things to account for, whenever they're out there on offense. Defensively, they're playing a couple of different, they're matching formations and playing a couple of different packages, whether it be 4-3 or 4-2-5. And,
Right.
Doing a good job of mixing, and got a lot of personnel that they're rolling through. They're playing 6 or 7 guys across the defensive
And they can
front.
do that up
Yeah.
there. They're one of the bigger schools. You
Yeah.
saw the classification numbers that came out,
Yeah,
and they've got a lot of kids up there.
Yeah, and do a good job with them. So, it's going to be one of those that it's going to be one of those.
Well, I'm glad that, if you'd have looked back and seen, you know what? Okay, we've got senior night. We've got West Monroe. It's here at home. It's week 9. That's the game you want there. If folks don't come out and see that, I don't ever want to hear anybody talk about football anymore if they're not
good
going to. This is
football.
a game.
Going to be some good football played tomorrow night at 7:00.
There's a lot of good games in here. All 5 of our teams are at home Friday night. That big Tioga Peabody game is going to be a big one. I know Ben's got one with Buckeyes, so there's just a lot going on. We're going to cheer against West Monroe this week, of course, and I'd love to see us get the win tonight and them go knock off Ruston next week. Wouldn't that make things interesting? I know you worry about this week.
Yeah,
you let me and Nick worry about the rest of it.
We're going to control.
I understand. That's right.
The role that we play in it, and
It's fun for us to sit there and look and
No
analyze
doubt.
all of that.
I'm with
You got to
you.
get past this. Defensively, we know that they're going to come at you. They're going to hit hard, and they're going to be ready for everything. They've watched all of the film. They're ready to go as well. But defensively, what do you see?
Well, they're playing a couple different packages. A couple different. They're matching formations and matching personnel groupings and doing a good job on that. And they're good at all 3 levels. 7 and 11 have played a little bit of corner in a couple of these games.
Right.
So, how much they're going to play some of these guys 2 ways. Tomorrow night we'll get into it and we'll tell. And, I don't know that it changes a whole lot. What you do on each side of the ball is what you do. But yeah, they're good at all 3 levels. You hear, I don't know if there's a couple guys they were playing earlier in the year that you know, I think we're out maybe with injury. So, you know, you could see some of them tomorrow night. I don't know all the, you know, ultimately you're going to line up and play against we're going to put 11 out. They're going to put 11 out. At least we're going to try to, you know, put our 11 out there. But, you know, they're going to run to the football. They're going to tackle well. You know, they play in space. Traditionally, they've done a great job of when you get in space, they get the ball on the ground and, you know, limit the explosive plays. And so there becomes the, you know, the game. You know, how do you create some of them and because it is hard to just put a bunch of you know, 10, 12, 14 plays. I mean, it just, you know, that's not, you got to find a way to create some explosives, and they're hard to do that against. So it should be fun.
The last time they were at Butch Stoker Stadium was a very cold night in December of 2020. It
wasn't very cold that night.
What it was for everybody else, yeah. Maybe not y'all, but
it was a lot of fun. Yep.
It was one of those. The crowd was there, and you carry that with you. That's just a special night. I don't know how many of the alumni that you hear from, but you know they love those games. This is West Monroe Week. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. We hadn't done a whole lot of talking about that, if I'm being honest with you. You know, I mean, it's you know.
It's just week 9.
It's just week 9.
I understand.
And I don't
Look,
mean that. I mean, not that everybody is,
that's right.
You know, not aware, and it's, you know, I mean, it's not the obvious, but to go around more and make it you know, we're not going to make it about them.
Right.
We're going to make it about us.
Look, Nick's getting the chill bumps already hearing about it.
Whether that's coach speak or not, that's the truth.
Hey, it's 48 minutes of football on a Friday night.
Make it about yourself, you know,
right.
and yeah.
Well, I will say this, just watching them, they're a little bit different than the EA game. I watched the EA game because that was a common opponent. They're a little bit different, but the one thing that they have been constant, they tackle. They tackle well.
No doubt.
I mean, they're just
and they've improved, and good teams and good programs obviously improved throughout the season, and they've certainly done that. But we certainly feel like we've done it ourselves, and you know, I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. Before I say looking forward to getting out there. And, you know, we still got some stuff to do in the morning, and we'll be out there at 7:13, and we'll be rolling.
I want to know. That's one thing I want to know, Coach. My high school coach, he would always, we were going to leave at 3:47. We were going to leave at 7:21. What is that just to get the kids' attention?
I want to get we try to get started every morning at 7:15.
Okay.
So we weigh in every morning. Our kids, that's the way that, you know, I'm going to sit there in the front of the locker room right next to the scale, and that's kind of how we, you know, do roll and all that stuff. I'm going to sit there and, you know, if 7:13 in 2 seconds, I'm not going to take your weight. I'm just going to write late or whatever it is, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I got it all the way back to last December of, you know, what it is. I want to start at 7:15. To start at 7:15, I have to be done taking that stuff at 7:13. So,
see, that's
do you know if you're efficient with your time? Do you know what you can accomplish in 2 minutes? You can accomplish, you know, I mean, that's the thing for us. Like, okay, well, it's 7:15 now. We're starting at 7. Then the warm up and the things. Before you know it, I mean, you just 2 minutes, and when you're efficient with your time and you're accomplishing, that could be so many extra things. And I know that sounds probably
2 minutes in a football game is pretty huge.
A lot of time.
That's right.
To get some things, you know, rolling, and just trying to make the most of the time, because we don't. We're off the field between 7:50 and 7:55, so the kids can get in there and get showered before they got to get up to the school building for second hour, and you know, so you can get a lot accomplished in a short amount of time if everybody knows what's coming. And so
I've seen some of the coaches, okay, we're going to go and we're going to be on the field at 6:24, okay? And so you back up from there. We want 15 minutes of this, 17 minutes of this. Now it works its way back to 12:06 when you're getting out there.
Yeah, we're traditionally 6:10 at home. We're going to go out, and then second wave's going to come at 6:22, and so on and so forth. But, you know, tomorrow night we'll be 5:55 going out, and then, you know, just because we got to get out there and get warm, and then get the seniors, you know, their senior night ceremony and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to be efficient. We will shoot from the hip, and when we need to, and coaches give me a hard time about that. So anyway,
They love it. We did go into the press box last week and share some Cheetos with them too. So they had that. And that'll be, I promise, the last reference to that I make until the next one. That's going to be it finally. Coach, we talked to EJ and we talked to Darius and asked them this question: how much fun are they having this year? You guys all look like you're having a good time this year.
I certainly hope they are.
Oh, they had a
What'd they
big grin.
say?
They smiled. They couldn't hardly answer the
All right,
question.
good.
They were smiling so big.
I don't know. It's not easy what these kids go through.
Right.
I'll just tell you that. It is not. It's very time consuming. It is not a hobby. It's not. We're trying to do it right. And so you certainly want them to enjoy it. And I think that comes when how do you develop a bond? You go through some difficult things together. How do you, there's how do you know who you can count on? Well, how were they in that moment of adversity when it got difficult? Did they fight or did they quit? And, through all that, you develop bonds and relationships that can lead to the fun, and the real fun's in the winning.
Well, indeed it is. We talked about it in the post-game show, and we talked about it there, but I wanted to revisit it just one more time. The pick six that Jason Blackwell had, it wasn't one that was thrown into his hands.
No,
he didn't
he went
run
up
up
and got
on
it.
it. The one that Tay had, Tay goes
96, 97,
97
whatever it
yards
was,
on
yeah.
there, and one it was tremendous. But full extension, Jason goes up and gets that one, gathers himself, and then houses one. And sure, the interception was wonderful. The 6 points was
It's fun
tremendous.
to watch the reaction.
But all of
all
those guys,
11 guys
helmets
were in
off,
there.
and they're just all on him.
I think Coach Mercer
Celebrating
left
in
the
his
coach's box. I thought Coach Mercer was going to be in the back of the end zone, and that's a lot of respect for him. His little goofy tail. I don't know if he's out there. I was telling him that, boy, he's so goofy, man. I don't know what he was doing tonight at track or treat. Like, boy.
But when he was here on this, y'all all told me that. But when he was here on the show, calm,
Serious?
cool. He was just like every
That was
other
the
guy.
5 minutes of the week where he was.
That was it.
He walks in every morning. Good afternoon, Coach. I think he just do your thing, Jason. Do your thing.
That's just
Phenomenal kid, man. He's awesome.
Well, they all have been playing to that high level, and it's fun to watch them each and every Friday evening. It's been a lot of fun here. It's been a lot of fun tonight. Didn't know what to expect out of track or treat night of who we'd morph over, but Brett may be able to get a shot of that crowd one more time before we get out of here. And you see them stretched all the way throughout. The folks here at Walk-Ons do such a great job of taking care of us when we're here.
Thank you to Ricky.
Oh, yeah, look, those guys had talked to him for a good while about it today. But you see the wait staff, the servers, everybody that has been such a big help to us this season. You saw that there. But, guys, it's been a pretty good show tonight. I've enjoyed it. Coach, you had to be on here a little bit more than normal, but
That's all right.
you got the time back in commercial breaks that
That's
you were on
right.
here. Normally
That's
we
right.
had the commercials.
I certainly enjoy it. I do enjoy watching the kids and letting them get their opportunity to learn and grow and handle these situations. The more you're in it, the more comfortable you get. But I certainly enjoy sitting up here and talking and bragging.
And the lemon butter chicken ain't so bad either.
No, it's sitting right over there and it's empty.
It was, that's right.
That plate's been cleaned.
This is the most players we've had.
Yeah,
This
this is
most
look.
players
They come in, and it's so great to see those guys that are out here. Ran into Brett's grandmother. They come out. Her grandmother and grandfather come out here. They're out here tonight. Ran into them in a restaurant in Pineville, and we're having lunch and walking in, walking out, and you just hear the great things. Wasn't able to make it to the show, but I'll be there this Thursday. We'll be there. And man, what a family, what a community that is developing.
Yep, our extended family is our Ash family. It is our family, and that's what is so awesome about this is the families that are involved, from the coaching staff to the players and their families and y'all's families, and that's what makes anything special is the relationships that you develop and ultimately cherish. When it's all said and done, that's all we're going to have left is the relationships that we've formed, and that's certainly the most rewarding part for me through all of this.
Well, if I don't get out of here on this show, my relationship's going to be in trouble because I still got to run by the store and
you
take
better
care of
do
something
that.
for Mrs. Gann,
Yep, you
or
better
there
do
may
that.
not be no broadcast
Yep.
tomorrow. So, guys, it has been a blast out here tonight. Brother-in-law came in there, and he's been pushing the buttons, and so we
Running the
appreciate
show.
everything that he's done for us. Easy night for him tonight. He was just able to come out, brought his kids out, and so that's great to see. As always, enjoyed having Brett on the broadcast this year. He's done a lot for us. Of course, my man Nick Magnano, who has added so much to the show this year.
Been a great addition.
It's been wonderful on there, and this season has progressed like we've wanted it to. Coach Bachman, as always, it's just an honor having you open up the team, the family, yourself, your life to be here with us on Thursday nights as well.
I love it.
There you go. Guys, we will see you. Kickoff is at 7. We're going to back up our pregame. We'll probably go on around 6 o'clock tomorrow night, so we can do our pregame and then roll into senior night because we don't want to miss any of that. Coach, are they going to do just the players before the game
Just
and
the
then
players
the
and
support
everything.
squad
Yep.
at halftime?
Correct.
We'll do that when you guys are in there. So make sure that you stick around for that. We'll go on the air at 6 o'clock tomorrow if that's good with you guys. It's up to Brett because he's the one that starts the stream, whether we can do that or not. But everybody that came out tonight, a big thank you. All of those that have watched at home or have went back and watched it, thank you so much for everything. That's going to wrap it up here from Walk-Ons. You have been watching the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towing. Couldn't do a bit of it without you. God bless you all, and good night.